The alien vessel, a colossal structure of gleaming metal and pulsating energy conduits, drifted silently through the void. Its engines, once a symphony of power, now coughed and sputtered in erratic bursts, leaving the ship nearly dead in space. The crew, a motley assembly of species from across the galaxy, gathered in the central command chamber, voices rising in panic. Alarms blared, casting red light across the tense faces of those who had spent centuries traversing the stars. Life support systems were failing in pockets of the ship. Vital repairs were impossible to perform in their current condition. "Course recalculation failed again," barked Thrin, the reptilian engineer, her claws tapping nervously on a holographic console. "We'll drift into the asteroid field before we can make emergency repairs." The captain, a towering figure cloaked in silver robes, remained unnervingly calm, but his eyes betrayed a rare flicker of doubt. "Options are dwindling. Nearby civilizations are out of reach. No one can assist us. We have one choice left: Earth." A murmur of disbelief rippled through the crew. Earth, they knew, was considered primitive. A blue and green speck in an unremarkable spiral arm of the galaxy. No one of note hailed from that system. No one had ever attempted contact. Some whispered it was a myth, a planet untouched by the great interstellar empires. Yet desperation overrides hesitation. Systems failing, fuel low, and confidence in rescue minimal, the crew initiated a blind approach. Sensors scrolled endlessly with readings of the unfamiliar planet, breathable atmosphere pockets, liquid water, and surprisingly robust electromagnetic signatures. The readings suggested a species capable of infrastructure, but nothing in the data hinted at military or technological might. The aliens assumed they were walking into a pitifully unarmed primitive society. As the vessel descended into orbit, the crew's tension thickened. Engineers scrambled to keep systems stabilized, while navigators squinted at unfamiliar orbital patterns. "Atmosphere acceptable for small personnel pods," muttered one crew member, a sleek insectoid being, its multiple eyes scanning Earth with a mix of fear and curiosity. "No aggressive signals detected, yet." The captain remained silent for a moment, considering the implications. "Prepare the boarding party," he ordered. "We go in for repairs. Nothing more, minimal contact, no risks." The crew hesitated. Minimal contact? They had no idea what awaited them, but there was no alternative. The vessel, as magnificent as it was, could not survive long in the cold void. Systems flickered dangerously, engines groaned, and life support alerts continued to echo. As the boarding pods detached and glided toward the planet below, the first glimpse of Earth took their collective breath away. Vast blue oceans stretched endlessly, crisscrossed by clouds of white. The sprawling continents shimmered with signs of civilization, lights, structures, and a subtle hum of activity, visible even from orbit. The aliens expected primitive settlements, simple farming communities at best. Instead, they saw organized cities that suggested a species with intellect, ambition, and somehow discipline. No one aboard the alien vessel suspected that, in moments, they would encounter beings unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen, and that those beings were fully aware of their arrival, fully prepared, and waiting with both hospitality and hidden power. The boarding pods slid silently through Earth's upper atmosphere, their sleek hulls glinting against the blue sky. Inside, the alien crew braced themselves. Anticipation and fear knotted together in uneasy tension. They had expected a primitive society, something that might offer basic repairs at best, or perhaps trap them in naive curiosity. Instead, Earth's orbital station appeared before them, a massive, elegant structure of metal and glass, humming with energy and dotted with blinking lights. It was advanced, organized, and undeniably alive with activity. "Impressive," muttered Zyron, the amphibious navigator, eyes wide as the station loomed larger. "I didn't expect this." A smooth docking sequence brought the pods to rest. Doors opened automatically, and a narrow gangway extended. The alien crew stepped onto the platform, weapons instinctively ready, scanning for threats. And then they saw them. Humans. Humans in simple jumpsuits, smiled warmly. They held small tablets, tools, and, in a gesture that made no immediate sense, steaming mugs of coffee. One human stepped forward, raising a hand in greeting. "Welcome! I'm Commander Harris. We've been expecting you. Coffee?" A ripple of confusion passed through the alien ranks. Coffee? Was this a form of ceremonial weapon? A distraction? Thryn hissed. Are they attacking? Harris chuckled, as if reading the thought. No attacks today. Come on in. We've got everything you need to get your ship running, and then some. The aliens exchanged glances. There was no obvious trap. No advanced weaponry was aimed at them. No force fields enclosed them. Just humans, smiling, and gesturing them forward. Inside the station, humans worked with a calm precision that astounded the aliens. Small drones zipped between the alien crew and the ship's systems, repairing intricate circuits that no alien engineer had ever attempted in years. Panels slid open on their own. Diagnostics ran automatically, and every tool seemed perfectly calibrated. Thryn's clawed hand hovered over a console, unsure whether to intervene. "How are they doing this?" she whispered. "They're fast," muttered Jarek, the stoic pilot, leaning closer. "Efficient. Precise. Almost intuitive." Even as repairs began, the humans maintained a casual demeanor. They laughed quietly among themselves, swapped stories, and occasionally offered another cup of coffee. The aliens watched, fascinated and slightly unnerved, as their expectations crumbled. "Is this normal behavior?" one of the insectoid crew asked. "They're social, relaxed, and somehow fixing a ship of our complexity at the same time?" Harris overheard the question and grinned. "This is Earth. We multitask." Minutes stretched into hours, yet the alien crew could barely keep up with the flurry of activity. Drones adjusted propulsion coils, while humans calibrated shielding arrays. Complex algorithms were rewritten on the fly, not just restoring the ship, but enhancing its performance. Each alien who had expected a simple repair found themselves staring at technology that now exceeded their wildest predictions, all done with seemed effortless precision. By the time the first pod returned to the ship's command deck, the aliens were beginning to realize a terrifying truth. Earth was nothing like they imagined. Beneath the casual smiles and coffee cups lay a species that was adaptable, brilliant, and, most unsettling of all, utterly confident in its own power. And they were just getting started. By the time the alien crew had adjusted to the calm efficiency of the humans, subtle changes were already taking place aboard their ship. Systems that had once sputtered under strain now hummed with unexpected stability. Energy flows recalibrated themselves, shields shimmered with an unfamiliar brilliance, and propulsion matrices aligned with a precision that even Thryn, the ship's veteran engineer, could barely comprehend. "We're not just repairing," Thryn muttered, her claws tapping nervously on the console. "They're improving everything." Commander Harris leaned casually against a control panel, sipping coffee. "Think of it as a tune-up with a little extra," he said. "We noticed your shields were inefficient. We fixed that. Engines? A few minor tweaks will get you across a few light years faster than you thought possible." The aliens stared in disbelief. These were not simple repairs. Every adjustment the humans made pushed the ship's capabilities far beyond its original design. Defensive systems were fortified with unseen layers of redundancy. Navigation algorithms now anticipated spatial anomalies before sensors could detect them. Even the weapon targeting matrices had been subtly optimized, the differences imperceptible until activated, but potentially decisive in a battle. One of the insectoid crew members, its multiple eyes reflecting flickering control panels, hissed in confusion. "Why? Why would they upgrade a vessel that isn't theirs?" Harris shrugged, still smiling. "We like helping. We like seeing things run better than they did before. Besides, we think you'll need the help sooner than you realize." Jarek, the alien pilot, leaned closer to the helm, running simulations. He watched the ship respond to commands with uncanny speed and stability. "It's incredible. Our best engineers couldn't have done this in a century," he admitted. "And they did it casually, while chatting, drinking some strange hot liquid." The alien crew began to murmur amongst themselves, a mix of awe and unease spreading through the ranks. The subtle enhancements were far more than mechanical. They hinted at something deeper. Humans had an understanding of systems, of efficiency, that was intuitive, almost instinctual. Their problem-solving was not rigid or predictable. It was adaptive, flexible, and devastatingly effective. "Do they even need tools?" Thrin asked, watching as human fingers moved across alien panels, seemingly guiding energy flows with gestures rather than commands. "It's like they're thinking the adjustments into existence." Harris laughed, but there was a hint of seriousness behind it. "We've had a few thousand years to figure things out. We like doing it well, and we never stop learning." By the end of the day, the alien ship was not just functional, it was transformed. Every system operated beyond its original specification. The aliens could hardly believe their eyes as diagnostics revealed enhanced efficiency, faster response times, and defensive redundancies they had never imagined possible. Yet even as they marveled, a quiet unease grew. The humans' demeanor remained casual, almost disarmingly friendly, yet their abilities were undeniable. The aliens began to understand a simple truth: these beings were not only capable, they were extraordinary. And that realization carried an unspoken warning. In a galaxy accustomed to caution and fear, humans were not to be underestimated. For the first time, the alien crew wondered if their simple stop for repairs had just turned into something far more dangerous and far more revealing than they could have ever imagined. The alien crew was still absorbing the scope of the humans' upgrades when a small, almost trivial gesture shifted the atmosphere entirely. A human approached the alien captain, holding a steaming cup of coffee. The alien's multifaceted eyes widened, scanning the liquid warily. "Coffee?" the human asked, voice calm and friendly. "It's a beverage. Helps with focus." "Focus? For what?" The captain tilted his head, unaccustomed to social niceties. "For everything," Harris said, smiling, extending the cup further. "Repairs, planning, even negotiations. Drink it." The alien hesitated, claws hovering over the cup, unsure if it was a trick, a toxin, or a ritual of some kind. Around them, the crew watched tensely. This simple offering seemed absurd in the face of the humans' clearly overwhelming skill. Yet something in their calm, confident posture suggested there was no deceit. With a slow, deliberate motion, the captain sipped. The effect was almost instantaneous, a surge of clarity, energy, and unexpected mental sharpness. It was subtle, not overwhelming, but enough to make him blink and lean back in astonishment. What is this?" the captain asked, voice tinged with awe. "It's enlightening." Harris chuckled. "Just a little human gift. Helps you think. Helps you notice things." Across the room, other aliens observed a change. Engineers who had been tense and meticulous now began to relax, their movements smoother, more coordinated. Even the navigator, whose many eyes had constantly scanned for threats, seemed more attentive, more precise. The coffee was not just a drink, it was a catalyst, a small demonstration of human ingenuity applied in the most unassuming way. The captain set the cup down, leaning on the rail thoughtfully. You are far more than we expected," he admitted, his voice low, almost reverent. "And yet, you act as though this is normal?" "It is," Harris said, casually, sipping his own mug. "We don't flaunt it. We just do what needs to be done, and we like doing it well." The aliens began to realize the subtle brilliance of humans. They were not just skilled engineers or competent diplomats. They were adaptive, intuitive, and audacious. They could assess a situation instantly,
improvise, and achieve results that seemed impossible. All of it came wrapped in calm confidence and humor, a combination that unnerved even the most experienced alien minds. Thryn, usually skeptical of sentiment, whispered to Jarek, "It's not just the coffee. They think differently. They anticipate, improvise. They see solutions before problems even exist." Jarek nodded slowly, understanding dawning. "And they do it without intimidation, without force, without arrogance. And yet, we're witnessing a species that could easily dominate any conflict if they chose to." The captain of the alien vessel stared at the humans around him. They laughed quietly as they worked, shared small jokes, and sipped their coffee, but every movement carried precision and intent. Every gesture revealed competence, courage, and clarity. In that moment, the alien crew understood a truth that would linger far beyond this repair mission. Humanity's strength was subtle, pervasive, and deceptively simple. They did not rely on fear or intimidation. They relied on ingenuity, adaptability, and audacity, the qualities that would make them, in time, legends across the galaxy. And this simple cup of coffee had been the first unmistakable sign. The alien crew had begun to feel a cautious respect for the humans, until they noticed movement in orbit that made that respect turn to awe. From the observation windows of their ship, they saw it. Dozens, then hundreds of vessels gliding silently against the black void. Sleek, metallic, and arranged with flawless coordination, the human fleet appeared almost as an extension of the planet itself, moving with a precision that no alien army had ever matched. Zaren's many eyes widened in disbelief. This cannot be. Is this defensive patrols?" Commander Harris walked calmly to the observation deck, sipping another cup of coffee. "Not quite. Think of it as contingency planning," he said, his voice deceptively casual. "We always prepare for worst-case scenarios, and sometimes worst-case scenarios aren't polite enough to announce themselves." The aliens' reactions ranged from astonishment to outright panic. Their sensors had detected no signals of such a fleet before. They were invisible until now, perfectly cloaked in both stealth technology and orbital coordination. There were hundreds of ships, each armed, each ready to respond, yet none of them moved with aggression. It was as if the humans were saying, "We are ready, but we choose when to act." Thryn hissed, claws scraping against the railing. How can a species considered primitive possess this level of organization and readiness? These are warships, not research vessels. Harris smiled, seemingly unbothered by her alarm. "We like to keep a few surprises up our sleeves," he said lightly. "We've had practice." The alien captain, sipping coffee, felt a shift in perspective. The upgrades aboard their own ship, the calm efficiency of the humans, the subtle influence of even a cup of coffee, everything now pointed to a species that combined ingenuity with strategy in ways that were terrifyingly effective. And now, the fleet made it undeniable. Earth did not rely on luck. They relied on preparation, intelligence, and overwhelming capability. One of the insectoid engineers whispered in disbelief, This is a fleet meant for war. How can they maintain so many without causing alarm?" Harris laughed softly. "We don't brag. We don't need to. A wise opponent will figure it out before it's too late." The alien crew realized something chilling. Humans were not merely capable. They were masters of subtle power projection. Every ship, every pilot, every system operated in concert, demonstrating an innate understanding of tactics, coordination, and deterrence. They didn't need threats or declarations. Their mere presence carried meaning. Jirok, normally stoic and analytical, muttered, "We thought our technology and fleet made us powerful. But compared to this, we are children." And yet, the humans themselves remained casual. Engineers continued working, laughter and quiet conversation filling the air. Drinks were sipped, coffee refilled, and repairs continued on the alien ship as though the fleet were simply part of the background scenery. It was a lesson in understatement. Power was not about display, but about readiness, intelligence, and execution. The humans had combined all three with effortless grace. For the first time, the alien crew truly understood that Earth was not a planet to be underestimated. They had come for repairs, expecting a primitive society. Instead, they had discovered a species whose brilliance was subtle, pervasive, and, if provoked, overwhelmingly decisive. In that moment, orbiting silently above a blue and green world, the aliens realized a terrifying truth. They had stepped into the lair of a species that could and would reshape the balance of power across the galaxy if it ever chose to. Tension had been rising aboard the alien vessel since the humans' arrival. While many of the aliens marveled at the effortless upgrades and the subtle brilliance of Earth's fleet, a faction of the crew was not so easily impressed. Suspicion festered. Whispers circulated among the reptilian and insectoid engineers. Some argued that the humans' casual efficiency masked hidden agendas, that their kindness was a trap. Late in the alien night cycle, the sabotage began. A group of alien crew members, armed with covert tools and cloaked devices, slipped into the central command chamber. Their goal was simple, yet audacious: disable the humans' access to the ship's core systems and retain control once repairs were complete. If humans were truly as dangerous as some suspected, preemptive action was essential. But what they did not expect was how humans had prepared even for this possibility. As the saboteurs approached the console, alarms flashed, soft but precise. Drones, previously unnoticed, moved like silent guardians, intercepting the intruders with non-lethal precision. Robotic arms immobilized tools before they could breach critical systems, and the humans themselves emerged, not in panic, but with calm, deliberate authority. "You didn't think we'd miss that, did you?" Commander Harris asked, his tone casual, almost amused. He gestured, and a holographic overlay projected the intruders' actions in real time. Each attempt to bypass controls was predicted and countered before it could succeed. Thrin hissed, claws scraping against the floor. How did they know? We were invisible to sensors." Harris smiled faintly. "We're used to anticipating challenges. We don't just react. We predict, we adapt, and yes, sometimes we see what others think they can hide." The alien saboteurs froze, realizing their failure even before the humans confronted them directly. They were disarmed, their cloaking devices rendered useless, tools seized, and their escape routes blocked without a single shot being fired. The human strategy was flawless: control the situation completely while minimizing confrontation. There was no cruelty, no humiliation, just clear, undeniable control. The aliens realized that humans were not merely brilliant engineers, but tactical geniuses. Their combination of foresight, preparation, and adaptability was terrifying. Commander Harris addressed the alien crew directly, voice calm and firm. "We prefer cooperation to conflict, but we are always ready. Always. And if you ever doubt that, you will learn the hard way. Consider this a lesson in why subtlety and preparation often win over strength alone." The saboteurs were escorted back to quarters, shaken and humbled. The rest of the crew watched in silence, absorbing a lesson that would linger long after they left Earth's orbit. The humans' power was not merely technological. It was a synthesis of intelligence, anticipation, adaptability, and confidence. No species had fully understood until now. As repairs continued, The alien ship itself seemed to hum in quiet acknowledgement of the humans' dominance. Every system upgraded, every strategy anticipated, every move countered with subtle brilliance, Earth had proven once again that they were far more than a planet worth respecting. And the aliens were beginning to understand a simple, terrifying truth. Underestimating humans was no longer an option.
The sabotage incident left a lasting impression on the alien crew. Even those who had once been skeptical or dismissive of humans now regarded them with a mixture of awe and unease. As the repairs continued, subtle observations began to coalesce into a broader understanding. Humans were not just capable, they were extraordinary. The alien captain, once confident in his species' superiority, now leaned on the observation deck, watching the humans move through the ship with effortless coordination. Every gesture, every instruction, every adjustment carried weight, precision, and intent. Yet the humans did it casually, almost playfully, as if genius and audacity were simply part of their daily routine. Jarek, the stoic pilot, whispered to Thryn, "It's not just their tech, it's everything. Their intuition, their foresight, their adaptability. They anticipate problems before they even appear, and they do it with humor, with patience." Thryn nodded slowly, still half in disbelief. "I've seen advanced species in battle simulations, civilizations that pride themselves on tactics and strategy. None of them operate like this. Humans, they're unpredictable yet flawless. It's like they've combined logic, creativity, and courage into one being." The humans themselves remained unaware, or perhaps unconcerned, of the alien crew's growing realization. They laughed softly as they worked, offering advice or correcting small inefficiencies in the alien ship. Every interaction reinforced a single undeniable truth. Humanity's power was holistic. It wasn't just technology, nor sheer numbers, nor brute force. It was the combination of intellect, intuition, adaptability, and an unshakable confidence in their own capabilities. Even subtle human gestures carried weight. A hand on a console, a nod to a colleague, a casual sip of coffee. Each action seemed imbued with purpose, revealing layers of thought that the aliens could barely comprehend. Humans were not only problem solvers, they were innovators, warriors, diplomats, and engineers all at once. The alien captain finally spoke aloud, voice low and heavy with new understanding. "They are unlike anything we have ever encountered. They combine strategy, instinct, and courage. They do not hesitate, yet they do not rush. They are complete." Zarin, the amphibious navigator, shivered as realization dawned. "We came expecting primitive hosts. We thought we could negotiate, bargain, perhaps even exploit. But they've shown us that we are the ones being observed, and they are already 10 steps ahead." The humans finished a final series of adjustments, checking systems one last time before the alien ship would depart. Commander Harris offered a reassuring smile. "All done. Your ship is ready. Better than before, actually. You're welcome." The alien crew's reactions were quiet, but profound. Words could not capture the respect, the awe, the subtle fear. They had come for repairs and found themselves humbled, enlightened, and wary. Humanity was a species that combined intellect, courage, and creativity into something greater than the sum of its parts, an unpredictable, unstoppable force. As the aliens prepared to depart, the captain realized a sobering truth. They had underestimated humans at every turn. The galaxy would be wise to take notice, because Earth's inhabitants were not only capable of survival, they were capable of dominance, subtly, effortlessly, and without arrogance.
For the first time, the alien crew understood why humans commanded attention wherever they went, why whispers of their ingenuity traveled faster than any fleet, and why every encounter with them carried consequences far beyond the immediate moment. Humanity was a force of nature in a galaxy that still underestimated them, and now the aliens knew it fully. The alien ship's engines hummed to life, a deep, resonant vibration that reverberated through the vessel. The repairs were complete. The subtle enhancements the humans had made now pulsed beneath the alien crew's feet, every system performing beyond expectations. Shields shimmered with unseen layers of protection, propulsion arrays responded with flawless precision, and weapon systems were calibrated with a sophistication that seemed almost alive. The captain of the alien vessel lingered on the observation deck, gazing at Earth below. The planet's oceans glistened in the sunlight, sprawling continents dotted with evidence of civilization that was more advanced and organized than anyone on board had anticipated. And orbiting silently, an entire human fleet awaited, concealed in plain sight, a demonstration of readiness rather than aggression. Commander Harris appeared beside the alien captain, still holding his mug of coffee, an almost casual contrast to the scale of what the aliens were witnessing. "Everything's ready. We made a few improvements, and, well, you're set for your journey. Safe travels." The alien captain inclined his head, swallowing a mixture of awe, humility, and lingering disbelief. "We came for repairs. We expected minimal assistance. Instead, we have received upgrades, efficiency beyond our comprehension, and a lesson in caution." Harris chuckled softly. "We like to be thorough, and we always watch, always prepare. You never know when a problem might appear, or when someone might underestimate you." The crew exchanged quiet glances. They had come to Earth expecting simplicity, perhaps some minor technical help. Instead, they had encountered a species that combined creativity, courage, adaptability, and ingenuity in ways that the galaxy had never seen. Humans had repaired, improved, and subtly dominated the situation without aggression, intimidation, or boastfulness. Thryn, normally skeptical and quick to question, muttered, "They don't need to threaten. Their presence alone changes everything. Their minds, their coordination, it's unlike anything we have encountered." Jarek, the pilot, finally spoke aloud, his voice tinged with awe. "We have underestimated them at every turn. They could have crushed us if they wanted to, and yet they chose hospitality, assistance, coffee." Harris smiled at that, raising his mug. "We're humans. We help, and we protect. But don't mistake kindness for weakness. We're ready for anything, always." The alien ship detached from the docking station, gliding smoothly into open space. Earth receded behind them, but the impression it left was indelible. Every member of the alien crew, from the most skeptical engineer to the captain himself, carried a new understanding. Humanity was more than a civilization. It was a force of nature. As they slipped into the void, the humans waved from the station and the hidden fleet. There was no fanfare, no battle display, just confidence, calm, and the quiet assurance that they were always prepared. The aliens understood the message, clear without words. Underestimate humans at your own peril. And as the alien vessel charted a course back to its own territory, systems upgraded, crew humbled, and minds forever changed, one truth resonated above all. In the galaxy's grand theater, Earth's humans were not merely participants. They were a defining force, capable of kindness, brilliance, and, if necessary, overwhelming power. The galaxy had taken notice.